Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today I'm coming back at you with another dream video. I haven't made one of these in a while, but I actually had a pretty intense dream last night, so I'm kind of tired today because I literally feel like it zapped me of every ounce of energy that I had to give. Now, I don't often watch things before bed and then go into a dream about it. Like, that's something I really wish I could do, because as you guys know, I love my movies and I really wish I could dream about them, like I'm actually in them. It does happen occasionally, but it usually happens at random. It's not because I've watched it first and then gone to bed. But on this occasion, it happened to me. The only thing that I can really think triggered this was that I did eat a lot of candy last night before I went to bed. So I'm wondering if like maybe the sugar had something to do with it, like giving me like an overactive brain while I was asleep. But I actually watched two things that evening. Earlier in the evening, I was watching the documentary on 9/11, and that kind of manifested a little bit into the dream, which was just a very short part really, but it was just pretty awful. And there was another part of the dream which involved the cast of Young Sheldon, which I also watched last night. That was like right before I went to sleep. I was watching like season 5 of Young Sheldon. But what's crazy about this dream is it's one of those ones that's kind of choppy. It's like I don't really know how I got from here to there kind of thing. But I'll walk you guys through it the way I remember it. Probably is not going to make much sense to you guys. The first thing I remember about this dream was I was at my job, like I was at work. And there is two of my work friends. I won't say any names, but like two of them were there also. And one of them was just about to leave. And normally in real life, like I would walk home with her. And in the dream, because like I'm close with both of them, I decided to stick around and stay at work with this other person. And then I felt bad for the girl who I usually walk home with. And I remember looking outside and I could see her walking off down the street. And I was just watching her and I felt kind of bad. I was like, oh gosh, okay, I can't really do this. I'm gonna walk her home. So I tried to catch up to her. The next thing I know, I'm like in a place that is 30 minutes away from where I live. And I still hadn't like caught up to her or found her. She was just gone at this point. And then I ended up in this big place. Like it was like a really big, scary, I guess you could say, I don't even really know how to describe it. Like I would say like a docking yard. Like it was a big, like there's like these rigs everywhere and cranes all over the place and like all these scary like high up beams of lights that are shooting down. And it just felt like a place that I had no authorization to be in there at all. Like it felt like a very strict place. And so I was kind of on edge at that point. And I had the same kind of anxiety feeling that I get when I've told you guys I've had that like reoccurring dream about the train tracks where I know I'm like trespassing and I know I shouldn't be. And it's like a weird feeling about like I'm gonna get caught and I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. It was the same kind of anxiety that's in that dream that was in this dream. It could have been like an electrical power grid. I don't know. I just remember seeing like all of the stuff that I can't really understand what it was, but it just looked like a place that I shouldn't be. It was pretty scary. At this point of the dream, it was becoming nighttime too. And the next thing I remember is like, I don't know how the connection happened, but I went from that to actually being at the base, like coming around the corner of like a building, like a really tall building. And I came around the corner and I looked up and it was the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center. And they were both on fire. Like it was just like 9/11, but I was stood right at the base and there's debris and there's all this heavy stuff like pieces of metal and concrete, and all of this stuff is just falling out of the sky and landing all around me. And it was pretty scary. Like pieces of fire, like things on fire were just falling down. That was pretty scary. And I know that was because I watched that documentary yesterday. And it must have been playing on my mind a lot. Like I've watched a lot of stuff on 9/11. But I guess this time it just kind of came into my dream. Yeah, that's pretty much what I remember is like I'm stood at the base of the World Trade, and I remember thinking like they were so tall, and it kind of made my stomach go weak. And that has happened to me before. I've been at the base of the One World Trade Center now in New York City, and even the Empire State Building. Like when I was there, every time I look up at those kind of buildings, like my stomach goes and my knees go kind of funny because they're so tall. Yeah, it's just that kind of feeling happened in the dream too. Just looking up at them, and it was just like so big. Now the next thing I know, again, it just like chops. I don't even know how this was even possible, but somehow I ended up in the World Trade Center at the very top floor. And it was like a very small room. I would say no bigger than like my bedroom, but it was like dingy yellow lights. And I feel like this is because I was watching stuff about the back rooms recently, as you guys know. But there's like dingy fluorescent lights. It was kind of yellowish colored, yellowish toned room, just plain walls, stuff like that. But there was the windows, like, and it was like you could see this was the corner of the building, so the point was right here, and it was a very low ceiling. Like, I remember it being like pretty low for a ceiling. Definitely the World Trade Center would have had much higher ceilings, but this was kind of low. Like, I could literally touch the ceiling. And I remember being in there, and I could, like, I was by the door, but I could just see outside the windows and just everything beneath. And at this point, I guess the World Trade Center wasn't on fire. It was crazy. Like, there was no smoke or nothing. I was just in the top of the building. And I remember it was the World Trade Center because I was looking out, and I was stood back, like I didn't want to get too close to the window, and I was just like, oh my god, my stomach, I feel like I'm gonna throw up just looking out at this thing. I was in this room with this other man, this other guy, and I asked him, where are we? And he said, we're in the top of the South Tower. And I remember, like, thinking to myself, like, I knew in my head that 9/11 had happened in real life. Like, I guess I had that awareness of it really did happen, but I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. Like, this is where it all happened, which is kind of impossible because they're gone now. But I remember thinking that in the dream, like, wow, I can't believe this is where it all took place. Like, I'm in the top of the building where that happened. And I went over to the corner, and I remember, like, touching the ceiling. That's how I knew I could reach the ceiling. I touched it like this. Right in the corner, like the very point. And I remember thinking, I'm at the top, like the top point of the South Tower. Like, this is crazy. I'm touching the very ceiling of the World Trade Center. I remember thinking that. The next thing I know, this is where Young Sheldon comes in. The next thing I know, like, the cast of Young Sheldon are in this, like, building too. And I think we're in the same room, but like it kind of went bigger at this point. I don't know if it was a different room. It looked the same type of thing though, like a low ceiling, kind of an office look, and like dingy yellow lights too. But the Young Sheldon crew were in this room with me. The cast is what I mean, not crew. And I remember, like, they were awarding each other things, and I remember Missy, the girl who plays Missy, she had this, she'd been given an award, and it was like a statue, I guess, like just a normal trophy. And that's probably because in one of the episodes of Young Sheldon I watched recently, her mom was like making her, she was trying to modify a statue for her for a trophy, because she was on the baseball team. So she had, they only had like boy trophies. So her mom like customized one for her. So I guess that could have been in my mind, but I remember Missy getting awarded this like trophy, and I remember her showing me, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, like, congratulations, that's really cool. I wish I had one. Like, I was trying to relate because she's a kid, so I was like, I wish I had a trophy like that. And then somebody actually came and gave me a trophy, but it was like a little one, smaller, and it was like a little figure of a person. I couldn't really tell, but it was black and it was made out of coal, like charcoal. And I was just like, I mean, it did look pretty cool. It was just weird how it was like, I guess like a, I didn't deserve this, so it's just like, here you go, a participation trophy. So I got awarded a trophy for absolutely nothing on Young Sheldon. And that's pretty much where the dream ended. It was very weird. Kind of went from 3 different places, like at my job, and then 9/11, and then Young Sheldon. Very bizarre dream, but as you guys know, I like to share my dreams with you, and I did feel very exhausted from this one though, and I was kind of a little bit, I guess I felt kind of dark when I woke up, and I guess that was because of the 9/11 part. It did feel really just uncomfortable to dream about that, and I guess it's kind of the same thing with, like, I guess any kind of, like, real-life events. If you dream about something that happened in real life, it's not like dreaming about a horror movie or a monster or the boogeyman under your bed. It feels just, like, awful. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You guys may have dreamt about something like that, too, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section, what is the craziest, weirdest dream you've ever had? Smash a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. Peace out and chase your dreams.